Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. We got a lot of fallout to talk about today from the Indiana Fever exit interviews. And trust me, when I say this, the WNBA is on fire right now. And at the center of it all is Cathy Engelbert. She has been absolutely cooked. I mean, roasted, sautéed, grilled, pan-seared, deep-fried, rotisserie style. However you like your cooking, that's exactly what the media and the players have done to her. She has been under the heat like never before, and the exit interviews only turn that fire up higher. Let's start with Coach Stephanie White. Now, Stephanie confirmed something huge. Caitlin Clark will be playing 5-on-5 basketball somewhere this offseason. And that opens up a lot of questions. Where's it going to be? Athletic Unlimited runs a 5-on-5 setup, but the issue there is money. They don't have the kind of budget that's going to keep Caitlin Clark in their league for long. Overseas? That's where the real money is. We're talking $1 million plus easy. European teams have been shelling that out for years, and they'd line up to add Caitlin. If I'm Athletic Unlimited, I'm calling up every investor I know right now and saying, look, we've got one shot to land Caitlin Clark, and this is how we turn our league into something major. Because otherwise, she's gone. And she's going to be making history overseas while US leagues are left empty-handed. And here's the crazy part. Imagine Caitlin Clark playing in some random overseas arena and her games being streamed on YouTube, pulling in 500,000 viewers or more. That's not a far-fetched idea. People are hungry to see her play, and they'll watch her wherever she goes. The fan base travels with her. That's just reality. Now, there are also rumblings, and this is where it gets interesting, that Caitlin herself might be looking at starting an off-season league. Now, how true is that? We don't know yet, but the pieces fit. We already know LeBron James has been making noise about creating a men's and women's league. And let's not forget, LeBron and Caitlin have a relationship, and both of them are tied to Nike. So what does that mean? It means Nike could easily step in, back this new league, and suddenly you have a whole new basketball empire that challenges the WNBA directly. Think about the fallout from that. The WNBA, already under pressure, already facing criticism for how they've handled Caitlin Clark and other stars, would suddenly have to deal with a rival league backed by one of the biggest sports brands on the planet. It's the type of disruption that could flip women's basketball upside down. So as we break down these exit interviews, the big picture is clear. The players are talking, the coaches are hinting, and the options on the table for Caitlin Clark are bigger than anything we've ever seen before in the WNBA. Cathy Engelbert, she's on the hot seat. The league, it's in the middle of a storm. And Caitlin Clark, she's sitting at the center of it all, holding the power. Cathy Engelbert, the women's NBA commissioner. Caitlin Clark had some very telling words about her. She said, quote, "We need great leadership at this time across all levels. This is the most important time in the league's history." And honestly, that says it all. Napheesa Collier also made her stance clear, and she revealed something really eye-opening, that she hadn't even heard back from Engelbert on a very personal matter she shared. Think about that. The commissioner didn't even reach out to Napheesa, one of the league's stars. And even worse, she hasn't picked up the phone to call Caitlin Clark, the single most popular and marketable superstar in all of women's sports right now. That is shocking. I'll be real with you, I don't even know how Cathy Engelbert still has a job as we speak. At this point, it's hard to see how the players can move forward with any trust in her leadership. And honestly, I don't see how they're going to get a new CBA deal done with her still in charge. It feels like before any progress can happen, there has to be real change at the very top. But you get the point. Christine Brennan jumped on CNN to break down the fallout from all of this, and then she doubled down by sharing her reaction across her Twitter as well.
We have Christine Brennan with us. She's a CNN sports analyst and USA Today sports columnist, and she's also the author of On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution of Women's Sports. This clash, oh my gosh, just bursting out into public view. Is Engelbert's job at risk here?
Absolutely. When you have players of this magnitude speaking out, and not only Collier, but then so many who followed up saying, yes, I agree with her, even into the playoff game last night, that almost all the big names, Caitlin Clark was silent, and obviously that's what she would want to do, and no comment from according to the Indiana Fever. But everyone else talking about Cathy Engelbert, she's lost the room, she's lost the league, she's lost the players, and this is chaos at the moment that they should be celebrating moving into the finals. Obviously a year without Caitlin Clark mostly, but still good TV ratings. Instead, a league that has descended into absolute chaos and acrimony, yet also been a very not surprising at all. As you said, I've written this book. You could see this coming a mile away. The league was completely unprepared to have the greatest thing that ever happened to it, Caitlin Clark, arrive. They've been fighting it for 2 years instead of embracing this incredible moment, and now here we are.
Brilliant.
She flat out said if she'd been out there for Game 5, you're looking at 4, maybe 5 million viewers easily. And honestly, I can't even argue with that. I believe it. So, congrats, Cathy. Now you've got Scott Van Pelt tearing you apart too. Want me to spin a couple alternate punchier takes of this line so you can switch up the delivery in your script?
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlin Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats. And we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlin Clark was essentially lost to injury. But it's a league that's at a flashpoint. According to Sportico, franchise valuations have soared. Players want more money and the CBA expires at the end of this month. This was a whole lot more than just a shot across the bow. The WNBA Finals begin this Friday, and we typically hear from Adam Silver on the eve of the NBA Finals. Cathy Engelbert has got to do more than say she's disheartened in a press release. The commissioner needs to explain how it is that a player, such as Collier, could ever come to feel this way and seemingly be speaking for all of her peers. I admire that Collier had the temerity to say what she did. The failure to respond, directly would be making another statement entirely.
But my goodness, that was Scott Van Pelt's one big thing on his flagship sports center. When it reaches that level, you know Cathy's in serious trouble.
As a commissioner, that shit would have worked before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese came into the WNBA. That shit you probably had that already blueprinted up to tell them every time they got the talking. These girls, those two girls, came into the WNBA retiring their parents. Do you think their $60,000 money, do they give two shits about? They were in college as millionaires. They made more money in college than most of your teams combined. They should be grateful. No, you should be grateful that these two women was popping in the college basketball to bring their fandom to your league. You should be grateful. Their first day, you got private jets.
We can say whatever we want about Angel, but let's be real, she's made a ton of money off the court. And I get the point that was being made. She and her teammates, some of them have literally been able to retire their parents. That's powerful. But this is exactly what Cathy Engelbert is dealing with right now. And honestly, it shows just how out of touch she really is. Because if you've got your head in the clouds that much, that's grounds for immediate removal. No question about it. And I'd be shocked if the NBA owners, especially the ones who also own WNBA teams, don't see it the same way. They know exactly what Caitlin Clark is worth. Adam Silver definitely knows what Caitlin's worth. He was furious, flat out livid that she wasn't selected for the Olympic team. That was a massive miss, one that could have elevated women's basketball on the biggest stage. Adam isn't dumb, he gets it. And here's the perfect example. The official WNBA Instagram has about 3.5 million followers. Caitlin Clark by herself, 3.6 million. She's got more followers than the entire league. That tells you everything you need to know.
All right, let's get into it. Cathy Engelbert, it's over. It really is. It's a wrap. And I don't know how anybody can look at this situation and still find a way to defend her. Like, honestly, what are you defending? The leadership? The communication, the state of the league right now, for real, I don't get it. I really don't. Now, let's talk about Collier for a second. My one real issue in all of this, outside of the fact she's backing a rival league, which I'm not thrilled about, is the timing. Because where was this same energy when Caitlin Clark was being targeted week after week? Where were the players standing up for her when things were obviously out of control? Everybody could see it. You didn't need to be an expert to realize Caitlin was taking cheap shots left and right. And here's the thing, I knew this was coming. You could feel it building. Too many games were getting ugly. Too many fouls that didn't look like basketball plays. Too much unnecessary drama on the court. It's been months of this, piling up little by little. And when that happens, eventually it explodes. That's exactly what we're watching right now, the boiling point finally spilling over. The league has let it fester, and instead of protecting their biggest star, instead of setting a clear tone from the top, the leadership stayed silent. Now the trust is broken, the players are divided, and the commissioner is sitting in the middle of the storm with no answers. So yeah, Cathy Engelbert, it's a wrap. The league needed leadership, and all we got was silence.
All right, Dave Portnoy absolutely destroyed the WNBA for 6 minutes straight. Now tell us what you all are thinking about this. I'm out. Till next time, thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
As far as this particular story goes, I agree with everything they said. This is the dumbest league run by absolute morons. I've been saying it forever. The way they market the league, the way now they talk to the players, so I agree with, and Napheesa Collier, I love, and by all accounts has embraced Caitlin and all these new fans from the jump. I'm a fan of hers. I will say there's a little bit of this crazy double standard within the players, because I've seen a lot of the players be like, amen, she's speaking the truth. We need to be paid more. We need this. We need that. But these are the same players who have essentially tried to run Caitlin and her fans out of this league, including me. I don't make it about me, but if you recall, and I will make it about me, when I went to the Fever Chicago game, they launched an investigation saying I was doing monkey calls, which is the most outrageous thing in the history of the world, because of the Jumbotron, and a league that'll say Indiana Fever fans are bad and we're doing investigations with no proof, no nothing, and have never stuck up for Caitlin. And you've had players be like, it's not about her, why she get all the attention? But then they don't complain when they get private planes from Caitlin in the new media deals. So it is interesting. Some of the players, you have to embrace all these new fans that are coming with the new players, whether that be Angel, whether you be that Caitlin, whether that's Paige, and they haven't done it. They've alienated an entirely new fan base, and it's almost like the old guard have consistently, we want the credit, we don't want to share in the pot. So Napheesa is correct, and she's been saying those things from the jump, but I find it curious, a lot of the players who don't seemingly equate embracing all these new fans with bigger contract deals, bigger money, are now agreeing with her. It's both. The referees stink. Everything about the league, the way they run it and market it, stink. The way they treat their fans, stink. So all of this is true. It is also, I'd be remiss not to mention, she is the owner of a competitive league. Like, she started the unrivaled league. So there's a lot of animosity and jockeying for position with the new CBA, but I agree with her. The referees stink. It's too physical. They don't protect the stars. That's why they're all hurt. But there is an overall attitude amongst this league, like, we don't need the fans. And that's crazy.
Dave, if the commissioner in fact did say something to the effect of Caitlin Clark is lucky she's got a $16 million deal because of the platform the WNBA gave her, it is the single dumbest thing ever said by a sports commissioner in American sports. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's right up there, and she definitely said it. Like, there's no way Napheesa's just making that up, but that's how they've treated her. So it's not a shocking thing to hear, because that is actually how they have treated Caitlin, as though she should be thankful to be in the league. And by the way, Caitlin has been absolutely nothing but gracious with her love of the WNBA and saying, I want to play in this league. I want players to be paid more. It's not just about me. I want private flights for everybody, and behind the scenes advocating. I've said it. If Caitlin Clark said, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home and I'm starting my own league, the WNBA would be done in 2 seconds. You don't think Caitlin Clark could line up billionaire investors and start and just get all these players to come with her if they're going to pay a lot more? Of course she would, but for some reason, they want to alienate her. It's like they want her to suffer coming in. You just never seen anything like it where the commissioner doesn't seem to value the stars or the golden goose. So she definitely said it is right on brand with how she's treated her since she entered the league.
Dave, right now amongst the billionaire class, sports seem to be like the next big investment wave, right? Especially with all other entertainment kind of going AI. Like, this is going to be where human beings are still telling stories on the field, on the court, where everybody wants to put in their money. Do you give Cathy Engelbert credit for the TV deals that she has struck, or does all this kind of lead to her demise?
No, I give her no credit for anything she struck, because as far as I know, it was a struggling league until this new class of rookies came out. And I mean, listen, this may say a lot about my WNBA knowledge. If you threw Asia Wilson's name at me like 2 years ago, I'm not sure I really would have known who that is. I certainly would have known who Napheesa Collier is. Like, yes, I knew the bigger stars, and those are as big, but like I'm talking about Diana Taurasi, but I wasn't locked in on this league. Everything has changed. The ratings, starting with Caitlin in college, and then with the Angel rivalry and all this stuff, it exploded. A mouse could sell it. I tweeted I could make far more revenue, and I 100% believe this, for the WNBA, for Caitlin individually. If you recall, when Caitlin signed the Nike deal, I wrote a big blog being like, this is the worst negotiated deal I've ever seen in my life. That Nike got away with murder with what they paid her. So you just aren't valuing it. Anybody could sell that. That's like, is Roger Goodell really responsible for all these great NFL deals? Or is it the NFL can play with scab players on strike and still fill up seats? Like, you don't have to be, when the product is there and it's talked about and people are watching, anybody can sell it. What did she do when she didn't have these stars? Nothing.
What do you think? What if the WNBA approached you to be the commissioner?
There we
love
go.
it.
There
I
we go.
said it. All these women who think they hate me. Angel Reese, she thinks she hates me. The one with the fingernails thinks she's hate me. Dijon Carrington. These girls would be whining and dining and be like, oh my God, it's not about the color of the skin. It's about sports, basketball. And this guy's putting money in my pocket. He's a genius. We would be flying, dining, and driving. It would be unbelievable. I would absolutely take this league to a level it has never seen. Cathy Engelbert can't market her way out of a paper bag. Embrace the stuff that's going on in this league. She's doing investing. Who invests in an entire fan base over nothing and creates everyone who wants your fans to be called racist for no reason? This woman's a moron.